I'm Jenny. Welcome to Jenny Moonbloom. What I've got here is a Christmas cactus. I've had this guy for about 2 years now, and he's been living in this pot, concrete pot, for about a year. And I've just recently noticed that after a couple watering cycles, he hasn't been bouncing back like he usually does. A lot of the leaves are still looking thirsty. Some of them are even drying up. So, you know, these are signs that my plant is telling me something's not 100% under where the roots are. You know, something's not right. He's not 100% happy. So I want to take a further look into the pot, have a look at the roots. You know, since he's been in here for about a year, I'm hoping, or not hoping, assuming that the plant is root bound, which means it's outgrowing its pot. There's more roots, you know, the roots are ready for more space. So if that's the case, not a huge deal. It's an easy fix, and you know, I'm hoping that's it. And yeah, let's do it and get this guy into the pot and see if that's exactly what we need to do here. All right, let's get our workspace ready here. I like to have like a working tray that catches all my old soil, kind of keeps the mess to the minimum here. So I want to use my little tools here. You could use a fork, like a to-go plastic fork or knife or chopstick to help you kind of loosen the soil around it. With the Christmas cactus, they can be a little fragile. The leaves can separate pretty easily, so you want to be a little gentle. So I also, you know, I also wanted to make sure this guy was prepared for his blooming season. So they're called Christmas cactus because they are active bloomers around fall and winter. So during Christmas, they usually have these beautiful flowers on them. And, you know, hopefully if I get him into a pot on time and make sure he's happy and has room to grow, when his growing season comes, it'll be good, you know, he'll be ready to grow. So just want to be gentle, try to do as least damage as possible, and try not to hurt the roots. So yeah, I've only had this guy for a couple years, but you know, I've seen that these guys could live up to like 30 years. I think people have 30-year-old house plants, Christmas cactus house plants. So I think that's pretty cool. If I could keep it alive that long, I hope so. So do some more loosening up here. So when I picked these up a couple years ago, I think it was like in November, they already had these buds and blooms on them, and I haven't been able to get the blooms back since. So I don't know, hopefully we have some more luck this time around. Interesting. So not looking as root bound as I thought. I'm gonna empty this out here. You know what? I think it's just not properly draining correctly. So you know, I thought it was dry and it wasn't getting proper water, but it wasn't properly draining. Soil's still pretty moist, and the soil and the roots, you know, they look They still look okay, but I think they are on the verge of possibly root rot, so I'm glad I checked it. And unfortunately, it's a lot worse than I hoped for, but you know, hopefully we can do something to save this guy. Luckily, you know, he's a cactus, he's a succulent, and we know that succulents are pretty resilient and forgiving plants, so hopefully he forgives us. So another thing I recently learned, and I think the huge problem was putting pebbles and rocks at the bottom of your pots for proper drainage, extra drainage. I just recently discovered, and you can see here, that that's not the best technique, at least for me. I usually put a layer of them for extra drainage, but it shows that it takes longer for it to dry. It's taking the soil longer to dry, so I don't want to use this method anymore, and I'm glad I caught the problem before it got worse. So, you know, I thought it was gonna be needed to be put into a larger pot, but I don't think that's the case here. What I'm gonna do is use the same pot, and maybe make the drainage hole a little bigger. So we're gonna use the same pot, make a larger drainage hole, and not use these pebbles at the bottom of our pots. Okay, so we're taking a look at our roots here, and healthy roots should be white or tan, like a light tan color, which we got going on here still. So I think we're still in good shape. I think we caught it early enough on time, but I definitely think we could see some improvement in the health of these roots. So let's not mess with these guys too much more. Let's get them dropped in some fresh, dry soil and give them time to adjust, and then we could give them nice water, and hopefully we see some new healthy growth soon. Okay, so what I've just done is I drilled a much larger hole than there used to be under here, just to ensure proper drainage this time, right? Since the hole's extra large, I like to put a piece of like mesh screen over the hole just to avoid spillage of our soil. You don't lose too much soil here. Yeah, I just bought a roll of like window mesh from Home Depot, and it's lasted me forever. So that's what I like to use to block my large drainage holes. So next, well, we're gonna get our little Christmas cactus babies here, and we're gonna put in some fresh soil, fresh dry soil. And since the roots and the old soil is a little moist still, I'm gonna use dry soil and not water it right away. Give it some time to dry, and then we could, when everything's evenly dry, then we could water it again properly. All right, so have a good layer there, and you know, since the roots are already in a fragile state, I'm not gonna mess with them too much more. I'm not gonna take away old soil or anything like that. I'm just gonna drop them in like this and let them do their thing. So it's important with cactus and succulents to always use cactus and succulent soil, just because drainage is so important for survival for these guys. It's so important, you know. They need water to survive, but not frequently, not too frequently. Soil. All right, we're looking good here. So let's get these guys in. Probably use a little more soil around. tools. We'll make it work. So fill in our gaps. Dry soil. Let them sit for a few days till all the soil is completely dry. Then we'll give it a good water. But hopefully this is what he needed. Because I noticed he was telling me something, right? He was showing me signs, and that's why it's so important to just, you know, give your plants some TLC. Check on them. Don't forget about them, because they'll let you know when they're sad. All right. Looking good here. Putting the last of our succulent soil. And we're going to give him some time to settle. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe learned a little bit of something with me today, like I did, because I do learn every day, right? You learn from your mistakes. You can't take it too hard when you mess things up. You just kind of have to look at it as a learning lesson. Okay, so it's been a couple days since we've attempted to rescue our Christmas cactus. I wanted to wait a couple days to water him until his soil was completely dry, which it looks like we're good to go. All the soil is dry, all of the old soil that was connected to it. Now we're gonna give it a nice gulp of water. Okay, so when it comes to watering your cactus, your Christmas cactus, they don't like frequent waters, but when they do, they like it to be thorough and deep. So slow, deep, infrequent waterings is the way to go with this guy. And keep an eye on it, and hopefully we see it perk up a little better than we did before. And hopefully he's happy with us. Okay guys, it's been 2 days since we watered our Christmas cactus, and he's looking great. He's perking up better than he did his last 2 watering cycles. You know, all of the leaves are feeling firm all the way up to the tips, so that's a great sign. There are some spots that, you know, they were struggling before, so they're probably not gonna come back, but everything else is looking great. He's looking good. And, you know, I think what we did was what exactly he needed. He wasn't breathing well. Now he could breathe and drink perfectly. Let's give this guy a little more time and see how much he grows. His growing season is around the corner, so hopefully we see a lot more growth from this guy shortly. Thanks for joining me, guys. If you learned a little bit with me this video today and you want to learn more, like and subscribe and follow me, and come check me out again soon. Bye.